Welcome back to another episode of Research Design Build. In today's episode, we're going to be covering some deck refinishing. I've got an old cedar deck here, about 4 years old now, but severely sun faded, and we are going to restore it. I do prefer the real dark look to my decks rather than the lighter color of the cedar, so we will be doing some staining here. I know this is a little unconventional, but I do prefer to treat my deck more like a piece of furniture than a deck. So the first step here is to sand everything down to a nice smooth surface. This was severely weathered, snow, rain, and pretty much 100% sun exposure. And I have not done anything in the last 3 years to this deck, so I have kind of neglected it as I've moved on to some other projects. But I started here with 120 grit for the most part. The cedar is very soft, and so it does make quick work of it. I did go into an 80 grit at one point, but it was just leaving too many sort of hard score marks in the wood, and I was having to go back over it with 120 anyways, so it wasn't really saving me that much time. If you can do it in one shot, the whole deck, it will be a little bit easier and save you a bit of time. With the stain and I did have to break it up a little bit because I had a barbecue and some patio furniture that I didn't want to remove completely off the deck. But SuperDeck, you do have to leave a little bit of time in between to allow everything to sort of cure up. And for that reason, if you're doing it in 2 stages, it's just going to delay that process of finishing your project that much longer. In terms of a stain, I'm using something that would be more used for interiors, furniture, and that sort of thing. And this is a Minwax Stain in a dark walnut color. So going through, and I'm just applying this by hand with some gloves and a cotton cloth, making sure to not let it soak in too much and to wipe it up so that I've got a very consistent stain. Now I am using a SuperDeck top coat here in a clear finish. This is from Sherwin-Williams. I've been using this for a few years now with some great results. As you can see in some of these pictures, it does allow the water to bead up very nicely. I am applying this again with a fairly wide brush. So this is a 4-inch wide brush, but it's about 1.5 inches thick. So it does carry and hold a lot of material and does make quick work of this. Now you don't have to be too careful when you're applying this SuperDeck finish. You do need to try to get an even coat. You will notice as well that it does go on a little milky, so you can see it kind of very quickly fade from this sort of milky and almost purplish at some points stages, and as it absorbs and flashes off, then it goes back to a nice clear finish. Now you will notice there that I just peeled off a piece of tape. When you're staining, it is very important to make sure that you've taped off any trim or anything that you don't want to get that dark color on, because it will, as the name implies, stain everything. With the SuperDeck finish, I do recommend 2 coats. The only caveat being is that you have to get the second coat on before the first coat fully dries. On a can it says 2 hours, but if you are in sort of a higher sun area, you will have to get that on a little sooner than that. So here's the finished results, looking really great. We've got all of the bumps and the weatheredness fully sanded off. It's now a very, very smooth finish. With the random orbit sander at 120 grit, it was produces a really nice fine finished surface, more attuned to your indoor furniture than an outside deck. And then that SuperDeck finish is allowing the water to bead up very nicely. This is just after a rainfall shortly after coating it. I hope you guys found this video informative and helpful. This is definitely an easy couple-day project to take on. I hope you guys enjoyed this and you found it informative. This is just a quick one. If you liked it, please give it a like, and please consider subscribing as well. I've got a whole pile more content on my channel. Everything DIY around your house, from home renovations, as well as some auto repair stuff as well, so please check it out. Until next time, we'll see you later.